Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Future is Bilingual podcast. My name is Heather. Thank you for joining me today. I'm really glad to be back doing the podcast because I took some time off during my first trimester of grad school, and now I'm on winter vacation. So it's nice to have a little extra time to dedicate to this. Today, I'm bringing you an interview with Sandra, a multilingual mom from Peru. This episode is great for anyone who worries about missing the early period of teaching your child a language when they're a baby. Sandra started to teach her daughter Spanish when her daughter was 4, and she's successfully teaching her Spanish now. She also talks about creating her own materials about Peruvian culture and how you can find those online and get in touch with her. She tells us about her journey learning languages and how it's taken her all over the world, and how she met her husband and how they're blending their family's cultures very beautifully. They have multiple languages, multiple religions, and how we can blend those into one thing. It doesn't have to be a burden or a stress. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this interview. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Future is Bilingual podcast. Today, I have a very special guest for you. She's also a multilingual mom, and she and I exchange multilingual messages, and it's just so fun. So if you ever want to send me a multilingual message, I'd be more than happy to respond. We share a bunch of languages, and I feel like I know her, even though we've only just started talking. And thanks to Instagram. So thank you so much for reaching out, Sandra. Tell us more about you.
Hi, Heather. Thank you for having me here. It's really a pleasure for me to share my story with you. And yes, we have been talking, I think, 2 months, and it's amazing. I feel so connected with you because I can talk to you in Italian, in French, in Spanish, in English. So it's amazing. As
the
you
power
said,
of languages. The power of connecting people. That's amazing.
It's amazing, right? Yes, in Instagram right now with all of this, the pandemic, I mean, it's still going. Meeting people from all over the world. Instagram has been a great platform. So yes, I'm a multilingual mom. I speak 4 languages. I'm from Peru, by the way, so I speak Spanish. I speak English too because I'm married an American, so at home we speak Spanish and English. I speak Italian and I speak French because I live in Belgium for almost 3 years. And I have 2 kids. Emma, she's 5, and Maxwell, he actually turned 7 months today.
Oh, wow. Oh, so exciting.
Yes. What can I say about me?
What do you do?
So what do? I started an online Spanish tutor service at the end of January of this year. Then I stopped for almost 5 months because of Maxwell. So I took 5 months of leave, maternity leave. The first few months when I started this business, it was amazing. I couldn't keep up with the amount of work that I had at the beginning. And this idea started because I was posting videos on how I'm teaching my daughter Spanish. I mean, this was last year. So people was contacting me like, how are you able to teach her Spanish and homeschool her? And she is doing so great. She's speaking now. So that's when I came with ideas like, why not sharing my journey and try to help other moms that are trying to teach not only Spanish, but also trying to pass their culture to their kids. So immediately I have a few students and I had like a lot of work to do because I was creating the class. I was creating my own visual tools because I didn't want to grab and copy from somebody else. So all of that take time. And now I'm back. I've been working since I come back from my maternity leave almost a month and a half. And it's been great. I'm really enjoying it.
That's so wonderful. And tell us more. I know you said you're from Peru, and I know that culture is a big part of what you want to pass on. It's not just a language. It's not just taking Spanish materials you can find on Google Images. So tell us more about, these materials that you're creating. I'm really curious. And were you a teacher before this? Do you have background in education?
Of course. So when I started teaching Emma, it was actually during the pandemic. And I was searching online, like how to teach her, right? Because I started talking to Spanish to her when she turned 4 years old. I never talked to her in Spanish younger than that.
Oh, really?
Yes, because when we were living in Belgium, I had a hard time. I mean, I was speaking French outside. I was speaking English at home. And to be honest, I just was trying to give myself a break because I didn't want to talk Spanish and English and then French outside and then translate everything to my husband because he doesn't speak any French and I wanted to leave. Actually, we were living in the middle of town in Mons, and that's the south part of Belgium. They only speak
I've
French.
been to Mons. Yeah, that's the only place I've been in Belgium.
Are you really?
Yeah. Small world.
Such a tiny place. Like I can't
know.
believe you've been there.
I did volunteer work. So it was just like a random town where they needed volunteers. So that's where I ended up going. Yeah.
Oh, you never talked to me about this. That's amazing.
I know.
So yes, we were living there, and then we moved to Puerto Rico. I thought it was going to be a great opportunity for Emma and for me as well to speak some Spanish. But unfortunately, when we moved to Puerto Rico, it was like 5 or 6 months before the Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico. So it was a lot of stress. I didn't even have time to adjust to the island and to meet people, and it was a really complicated time. So I decided not to talk to her in Spanish because we were under a lot of stress already. So when we moved here, the pandemic started, right? I mean, we moved here in 2018, but let me focus more about how I started teaching her. So I started teaching her in Spanish, and I couldn't find the right materials in Spanish, more Peruvian culture. So I'm sure there are a lot of Peruvian moms in the United States that have had the same problem that I had, and not just in the States, in other parts of the world. So I start creating my own bilingual tools with Peruvian heritage for me to be able to connect with her and try to teach her a little bit of my culture, because it's been 3 years that I have not traveled back to Peru, and I don't think it's going to happen in a short time because I have Maxwell and it's complicated. So I launched my first product last week on Thursday. It is a Spanish alphabet workbook with Peruvian heritage. So in this workbook, Emma, I mean, she already knows how to write, but she's tracing. She is recognizing Spanish words, and she's learning a little bit of Peruvian culture, because each Spanish Peruvian word is associated with letter is associated with a Peruvian word in a picture.
So give us an example.
So for example, I'm talking about the letter Q, right? So the letter Q is gonna go associated with a Peruvian word. In this case, I use the word quena. Quena is a folkloric instrument. It's like a flute. So it's the letter associated with the picture in a Spanish Peruvian word, and then she can trace the letter, and she can also trace the word. And while she's coloring and tracing, I start talking to her a little bit about the meaning of the word. This workbook comes with a Peruvian glossary at the beginning of the workbook, so you have an idea. So you can associate and learn the meaning too.
That's great.
Yes. And
I just want to say I think it's so important, because we so often, there's like the first level where we just see Spanish as this one language. And then, people get down to the accents and like, oh, in Spain, they talk differently than Latin America. But then there's so much more detail. It's like this onion you can keep unpeeling, where like each Latin American, Central and South American country has its own culture. So I think it's so, so, so important that you're actually doing the work to make all these materials, because we so often will just be like, I feel like we default to Mexico, first of all, if we're going to look at, Latin America. And I just think it's really cool that you're getting down to that very specific level. And it is, I think, very useful for anyone who's, of course, from Peru and wants to. People don't want to make these materials because, as you said, it takes so much time and it takes so much knowledge. Exactly. Wonderful that you're providing that.
Yes, I'm also learning from it because, of course, I mean, I'm from Peru. but it's been many years that I don't live in there, and I cannot know everything.
You
So
can't
it's
know
actually
everything.
good. Yeah, so it's actually good for me too, because I'm reconnecting with my roots and learning and passing that heritage to Emma. And also, I think this is a great material for dual program teachers when you want cultural awareness and you cannot find products, because as you said, we especially in the United States, we associate Spanish with Mexican culture and Puerto Rican culture. What it's great, and they're amazing and great materials.
They're different. They each have their own specific, each country has their own specific things. So.
Exactly. So this material, it's good for them, for moms that would like to pass their heritage, for homeschool moms that would like to promote cultural awareness at home, for dual teachers, for Peruvian moms living abroad that would like to pass their heritage too.
Or
so,
even
yeah.
parents, if they're married to a Peruvian, so if like
Yes,
both
exactly.
parents are trying to pass it on, maybe if I was married to a Peruvian, I'm not Peruvian, but maybe I want to pass on the culture. So
exactly,
there's so many people.
Like what I'm doing with my kids, because my husband is American Jewish, so I'm learning from it, so I'm able to teach them.
Exactly. So back up and tell us, when did you leave Peru? When did you meet your husband? That whole story. When did you learn your languages? I also want to know. I love the whole, we'll get back to the teaching and the children, but tell us more about you. When did you learn all these languages?
Of course. So in Peru, I went to a bilingual school. So I took some subjects in English. And then because I really like it, and I always thought learning a second language will open up more opportunities if I wanted to move out of Peru or just work in Peru, but for an international company, you have to speak English. So I took after school class for about 2.5 years, English classes. And then because I wanted to be involved with the American culture, right? I wanted to practice English. I did 2 cultural exchange when I was in college. I went to Biloxi, Mississippi to work for a hotel. And then I went to Walt Disney World for 3 months. That was an amazing experience because I was able to work in Walt Disney World. I was living at the Walt Disney World dorms, and I was connected with people that was amazing, from people from all over the world, friends, Epcot, you have the different
the countries,
right?
Yeah, I can't even imagine how cool. Wow.
It's so cool. I met people from France, Japan, Morocco, Mexico, of course, Mexico. It was a really great experience. I was there for 3 months, and then I went back home. I continued studying, and then I just like, okay, now I wanna go to Europe. I want to learn another language, right? So I applied to work for a cruise ship, thinking it was going to be like doing those cultural exchange, and I was completely wrong. Because working on a cruise ship, it's really hard. It's a very hard job. So I was about to quit. I was like, I can't do this. I'm leaving. But then because it was 8 months contract without no break, no day off. It was only a few hours off during the day. And I was like, I can't do this. This is too much. Yeah, it was really rough. But then I said, you know what? I am here. I can make some extra money. I can learn from this. No, not everything is gonna be easy in life. So
and it has an ending. There is an end date in sight.
Yes, so it's like I just gonna stay. So I feel so proud of me because I can't believe I finished my 8 months contract without no day off. But I was able to connect with European people. I learned basic Italian there. Yes, but it was not required to speak Italian before getting this job. But I learned the basic while I was on the cruise ship, and then I was able
from passengers or from coworkers?
From the coworkers, because it's an Italian company, so most of the employees
Okay, okay.
were Italians or Europeans. There were very, very few Americans, to be honest. Most of them were from Europe. So I was able to learn a lot from them. When I came home, it's like, okay, I want to improve the basic Italian that I learned. So I took, I think it was a year and a half of Italian, yes, in Peru.
Nice.
And then I never used it back in Peru. Okay, so it's like I stopped studying because I studied Italian because I needed to find a job. Life continued. I have to do something else. So I met my husband in 2010 because of mutual friends. I have a very close American friend who went to Peru to learn Spanish, and she married a Peruvian. And when she was living in Peru for a few years, I was her only friend that actually speak English in Peru. So we were going out a lot, and then she decided to move back to the States because she wanted to do an MBA. She's also a multilingual mom. So when she moved to California, she met my husband, and my husband also moved to California a few weeks before her. So they were both new in Monterey, California. So they were roommates. And then they were roommates, yes. So then, but she was already married with a Peruvian guy, right? So 6 or 7 months after my husband was roommate with Amanda, that's her name, the Peruvian husband came to the United States without speaking a word in English. Like not even, I know, right? Well, Amanda speaks fluent in Spanish, English, and French.
But still.
So, yes, I know. So my husband was living with them and another roommate, and he learned Spanish because Diego wasn't able to speak English.
Oh, nice.
But my husband, yes, interesting, right? But my husband took Spanish in high school, and he told me that was horrible. I didn't like it because a lot of grammar, and you actually do not have the experience. You don't talk. You are not sharing with other people, right? So he learned a lot of Spanish while living with Diego, and yes, and that's amazing. He was in.
So this was before you met him.
This is before I met him. So because of Amanda and Diego, they both took my husband, to Peru to visit Peru. Okay. So that's how I met my husband, because every time Amanda was going back to Peru with her Peruvian husband, she was contacting me, hey, Sandra, we're going to do this. It's like, okay, I'm going to meet you guys. And that's how I met my husband. Because yes, Jason was in that group. The first time I met him, it's like we didn't even talk. And then, I mean, we didn't even talk. And 2 years after, or actually, I think it was a year after that, in 2011, he went back to Peru with Amanda and Diego again for a wedding. So Amanda and Diego took Jason to my birthday party. So that's how everything started. Wow. So we started texting each other. That day we were dancing, and we were like, after the party, like a week after he left, he went back to California, and we still in contact. We were chatting back then. We were chatting through Skype and Facebook. Yes, on Facebook.
Oh man.
Yes, so we were talking, and we were not in a relationship, but we were just knowing each other. And I decided to go to visit Amanda and my family. I don't remember. I think this was in 2012. Okay, so I went to visit her, and he came to visit me, because Amanda wasn't living in Monterey. Amanda lived in Santa Monica, California. So he drove all the way from Monterey to Santa Monica to be with me. And then 3 months after that, you know what? I decided to move. I say, I think one of the reasons for me to get out of Peru was because I wanted to have the opportunity to meet him. And I knew that he was not going to stop his life to move to Peru for me, because he doesn't speak Spanish. I mean, he speaks some Spanish, but not good enough like to find
Do his
a
whole
well-paid,
career. Yeah.
to have a well-paid job. So it's like, okay, I'm okay. I mean, I just quit my job. I'm going to start
Wow.
over and just see what happens.
Wow. That's
So yeah,
that's so crazy. It's funny to think back, like the first time you didn't even talk with him, the first time you met him. Like it's so funny.
it is funny, and it was also when I decided to move to leave everything in Peru. It was also very risky because
Oh yeah.
it's like I don't know. It's like what's gonna happen. Like okay,
How much time between that trip to California and then you're deciding to leave Peru? Like how much time in between there? Were you in this long distance relationship?
no, we were just friends, but but we were talking every day. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I've never talked to anyone every day when we were, and you live in a different country. So
Hmm.
I was already tired of my job. It's like, I need to get out of here. If I don't leave, I'm going to live with my dad forever. So it's like, because I mean,
It wasn't just for
probably,
him. It wasn't, it
it
was
was
like
not,
you were okay.
of course, it was not just for him, but we, most of Hispanic people, I cannot put all of us in there, used to live with our parents until we get married,
Yeah.
and then we leave the house, right? So I was 27 back then, and I said, you know what? I mean, it's time for me to leave. I need to live my life, and I need to explore. So and just it was not just because of him.
Right.
I just needed to see something different and
But you took
and
a big leap. You quit everything, left your
yes,
country.
I left
Wow.
my country. I went to Miami first. I didn't like it, and then I went to New York. Uh,
Big
uh,
cities, yeah. I mean, it's
yes,
hard.
so
It's hard to start in such a big city. Miami's a huge city. New York,
yes,
obviously, the
yes,
biggest city.
yes. But New York, I found it a little bit more accessible for me because there are trains and you can move
Yeah.
wherever you go with a train. It's not the same in Miami. You need to definitely buy a car or rent a
Yeah.
car.
Most of the
So
US is, as you know, you need a car. So
yes,
New York is
so
special in that sense.
exactly. So that's what I decided. New York is gonna be better for me. So I went to New York. I applied for a student visa because I like it and I wanted, to stay in the States, but I wanted to stay legal.
Hmm.
So my only option, I mean, everybody, oh yes, you can just get married. It's like, no, I'm not gonna choose that option. I mean, that's
Yeah,
not the
that's
safe option for me right now. So I decided to apply for a student visa. Took a while, but I got that student visa and I was able to stay in the United States. And I decided to first improve my English for me to be able to apply for a college.
yeah.
That was my plan, but that's when our relationship actually we were still talking with my now husband. So I went to visit him twice to California in my period when I was living in New York, and that's when we started a relationship,
Hmm.
right? And then he came, and then he got a promotion to move to Belgium, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's the end. That's the end because, as you know, I just got my student visa to
Yeah.
stay in the
You
United
just
States.
organized yourself to be in the US.
I
Wow.
just organized, and it's like, and I spent a lot of time and money. So it's like, there's nothing I can do. Like, you will have to go, and I will have to stay here because
Yeah.
I can't do anything, right? So he went first to Belgium. We never said, we are gonna break up or anything.
Hmm. Hmm.
So few months before he left, I went to California again. We went to Los Angeles to apply for how do they call this? Like some sort of fiance visa for me to be able to
Oh,
go to Belgium with him. Okay,
okay.
but it was really extremely difficult because back then I was still as a Peruvian, so
Hmm.
I had a Peruvian passport,
Right.
and with a student visa in with a student American visa to stay in the United States, right? So we had a lot of uh, papers to do, and it
Yeah.
was really complicated.
Oh, I
Uh,
understand. We just had to do all that to get here. And yeah, it's weird having like a different status. Like you're not a citizen, you have this visa. Yeah, totally get
yes.
it.
So it was really difficult, and I think we started doing that sometime in February 2013, and I was able to move with him at the end of August in 2014. So yeah, it took a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
If back then I was American, it would be a little bit easier because
Right.
I have an American passport. But the good thing about Belgium is that they have this thing called cohabitant visa or status.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to live in Belgium as a Peruvian and being with him without being married. So that was a release for me because we were just starting a relationship. And
Yeah,
I
that's a
wanted
lot of
to
complication to put on a brand new relationship.
exactly. And it's like,
Wow.
I don't want to rush up, like to get married. Like, I don't even know if this is gonna work.
Yeah. No, that's
So
crazy.
I know it's crazy, and I'm so glad Belgium have this auction. No,
Yeah.
so we were in Belgium for almost 3 years. Our first daughter, our first child, Emma, she was born in Belgium, in Mons,
Okay.
Belgium.
So
And
does she have Belgian citizenship for being born there?
No. So well, that's something that I'm working on because she's American. So I think, I mean, she has a Belgian, it's not a birth certificate, it's like a certificate note that the city of Mons gave me.
Yeah. The record.
To
Yeah. I don't know
prove,
what they call that. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but it was strange because when I was searching the other day, the papers, it's like, oh, is this a certificate of birth or like, what is it? So I
It's
need to
complicated. I know. We get them in the States too. I had the one from the hospital, which is the birth certificate. And then you get the paper from your town that like they've put them on the list of citizens or something. I don't know. Yeah. Our town sent us something as well.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's so complicated. And mine was all in, one country. I don't know. It's complicated.
So I don't know how it's in here because, well, I'm working on, I know we have registered Maxwell here, but I don't have the physical birth certificate. So I don't really know how it looks or how it is. So I'm working on that too. But in Belgium, she is American, okay? But she have this paper that is with a stamp on everything about from Belgium, from the city of Mons, that she was born in Belgium. So I don't know, maybe I can get her a passport. That would be amazing.
Yeah, there might be a citizenship for being born in the country. I don't know. You'd have to look.
I don't know. I need to work on that because I'm really looking forward to take her there. No, it will be amazing for her to see where was she born.
Exactly, because she doesn't remember.
Of course, she doesn't remember. So after that, we moved to Puerto Rico. I already told you what happened in Puerto Rico, and we moved to Texas, and there was a lot of moving and different languages, stress, being new parents, and a completely different environment from both of us, because he's American and Peruvian, living in a European French environment that I love. Okay, I have great memories from Belgium, from Mons. So I just wanted to give myself a break. So here, when we started the pandemic, I realized, okay, well, I think it's time to teach her some Spanish and to teach her a little bit of Peru. I have the time. I'm at home because I was laid off. I used to be an event coordinator at the Grand Hyatt here in San Antonio, and because all of what happened here not just here because of the pandemic, I was laid off. So answering to your question, I'm not a teacher. I am a hospitality manager. I mean, that's what I studied, hospitality management. And because I was homeschooling my daughter since the beginning of the pandemic, that's when I decided to change careers. And my plans back then, at the beginning of the pandemic, was to get pregnant. And I said, this is, like a lot of people, right? Like a lot of kids.
I know. I just have to laugh because so many of us are like, we're going to plan our pregnancy.
I know. Because I wanted to have another child. So I said, okay, this is the best time to do it. I'm at home. I don't want to go back to work. So while homeschooling her, then I got pregnant, realized it's time to teach her Spanish, realized, what, we cannot go to Peru. Let's bring Peru home. So I started creating all of these products. and decided, like, after a few months, the hotel called me to go back to my previous job, and I told them no because I already launched my online business. And sometimes it's discouraging at the beginning because you have to do everything. And for me, then I stopped for 5 months. So I start working again. It's been almost a month and a half, and I have a lot of things to do. So, step by step, little by little, I'm going to get to what I really want. But it's like that to every, entrepreneur. The first year,
for sure.
the first
you're
year,
setting up all the groundwork.
You're building up. Yes, you're building up, and then eventually, oh wow, all the hard work.
Exactly. Once you've got it all set up, it'll run itself, but you have to put all those bricks in place in order for it to really be set up. I know it's a lot of work, but it's so, I mean, you have your motivation, you know why you're doing it. And I think having that drive is really important, because it's challenging and you might want to quit and you might think, what am I even doing? And you have to kind of remember the why am I doing this? And it's more than just your child. It's great that you're doing it for yours, but you have this whole other reason that you want to help the whole community. So I think it's so important to remember.
Yes. And
why
also,
we're doing this.
Exactly. And while I was living in Belgium, as you've been in there months, there are very, very few people speak English. Even if there is the NATO base in there and the US Army base very close. So the first few weeks when I was there, I couldn't even go and buy a piece of bread. And they have this little cute and amazing dessert place in every corner. I couldn't even go to get anything because they didn't speak any English or Spanish. So I enrolled to 3 different classes, French classes. I went to the University of Mons, and then I went to some sort of école communale. I think it's like some sort of I think what they call here college, like you want to study like 2 years. So I went there and took a bunch of classes in French. And for me to be able to practice with the French community, right, with the Belgian community in French, at the NATO base, because my husband we were able to get in there because my husband worked for the United States, and I found this amazing group of French ladies. It's a conversation group, and it was every Tuesday. And it's like, I'm just gonna go. And it was amazing because in that group, I met a lot of Italians. I met people from Poland. Actually, one of my closest friends in Belgium, she's from Poland. And I met her also. So we were just practicing French, and sometimes I was practicing Italian. That was the first time that I was able to use my Italian after a year and a half of learning in Peru. So it was really a great opportunity for me to be able to find this group because I practiced a lot of French. And then I felt more comfortable to talk to locals when I was going to the grocery store, that it was literally 2 blocks away from my house.
So was this like a low key, like it wasn't a lesson, it was just a get together and chat? Is that what this was?
Yes, it was just that. So the NATO base, if I remember correctly, they are 33 countries involved. Americans, Italians, Turkey, Spain.
I just love how that was the one that helped you most, the one that was like relaxed and wasn't structured. I think that's so telling because we take classes thinking that learning the grammar and being very structured is going to help us, but what we really need is just to use it. We just need to talk, because a language is mostly spoken. We're not writing all the time. We're not reading all the time.
So when I was going to the school, I have these 2 classes. It was immerse French. So the teachers didn't speak a word in English or Spanish. It was just French. And it was fun actually with these 2 ladies. It was nice because we were they were trying so hard to approach and to immerse us in the culture. And then I took a grammar class, and that was, it was a little a high level for me, but I really enjoy it. the first weeks, and then it was getting harder and harder and harder. It's like, okay, I don't need to learn all of this grammar, but I really like that teacher. He was great. But then with the French ladies, the conversation, that's when I really learned more, I will say, because we were talking all the time. Right. So that helped me a lot.
And it pushes you past your comfort zone. It's easy to sit and listen in a class. It's very safe. But when you actually have to formulate your own ideas, and also I would say understand somebody else, half of the battle in a conversation is following what the other person says.
Yes. And then after, I think 9 months that I was already living in there, I felt comfortable and I enjoyed it so much, everything living in there. So it's like, you know what, it's time to look for a job. That was the hardest part, because me being Peruvian with an American, like how do I do this? A lot of information. I'm not gonna talk about that because it's too much. I was able to I applied for a lot of jobs. So got 2 interviews, one to work for a hotel in Brussels, and then another one to work for the NATO base that is in Mons. And because I'm able to speak 4 languages, I was able to be one of the event coordinators at the NATO base, and I love it because I had experience to talk Spanish. I mean, I have no experience. I have the opportunity to talk Spanish because there is a huge Spanish community there. And then then Italian, and then French, and of course English, because the majority of the employees are Americans, not just because they work for the NATO base, because they also have the U.S. Army base in Chevres. That I don't think you have been in Chevres, but that's like 20 minutes away from Mons, and it's just farm in the American base. And then so it was a really great experience. Actually, my boss, he is a multilingual too. He speaks 4 languages, and it's like you. I was able to talk to him in Spanish, in Italian, in French, and in English. I mean, he is Spanish. He's Belgian. His dad is Spanish, and his mom is Italian, and they live on so he speaks all of these 4 languages, and I feel so connected with him because we were able to speak in the 4 languages. And my boss, she was, I don't know her, from the UK. So it was great for her too, because she only speak English. So I was there to help her to get connected with more Spanish, with Spanish community, the French community, the Italian community. So all of these ladies were coming to the club. So I was working as one of the event coordinators at the Che Club. The Che Club is they have a bar, they have event rooms, and they have a restaurant. And the employees and the spouses of these military or civilian employees, they go to the club, to have fun, to have a drink, to eat something. And it was a really, really great experience. I can't complain.
So cool. Yeah. So you now speak these 4 languages. I want to get back, because we talked about your daughter at the beginning. Now you have a new baby. He's 7 months old today. So you said you started talking to your daughter in Spanish when she was around, was it 3 or 4? 4. So what is your plan now that you have this young baby? Like, are you going to do things differently? Especially because you're already speaking Spanish with your daughter. I can just assume that you're going to, so tell us, kind of explain what your plan is now going forward with your family of 4.
Of 4, yes. So now, because Emma understands Spanish, I would say 90%, and she actually started to say her first Spanish sentences.
Yay.
So it's, oh my God, I almost cried when that happened. So now I'm only speaking in Spanish when they both are here. And my husband also is a good opportunity for him, because he is like, practicing.
Exactly. He speaks it so he doesn't feel left out.
Exactly.
And he can learn more, because there's so many specific kid words that I'm sure he doesn't know.
Yes. And when he doesn't understand, he say, I don't understand what you're saying. So I repeat again. And so he does not get what I'm trying to say in Spanish, I explain to him in English, So yes, with Emma, I start the time and place strategy. It worked. And now I'm using the Opal because of Maxwell. I realized, I mean, I'm happy that now Emma is able to understand and speak a little bit Spanish, but it's definitely easier when you start younger, because I think it will be less of I refuse to talk to you in your
it's just
main language.
natural.
It's just natural. So with Maxwell,
but I think your story is so inspiring, because there might be parents listening that have a 5-year-old and they haven't started speaking their their language to them. It is possible, right?
It is definitely
never
possible.
Too late.
Never too late. Definitely, you just need to be consistent and
have fun. Don't make it a chore. Yes. Kids are not going to respond well if it's forced.
Exactly. Not to feel discouraged. Just keep going, because I think it will be great to try to pass to your kids your language and your heritage. So with Maxwell, yes, I only talk to him in Spanish, and when we are home, I talk to both of them in Spanish too. And if my husband, mostly because of my husband, if he does not understand, I am okay to try to explain to him in English, so he doesn't feel that he's left out,
Of course.
Because the idea is to share as a family, not just our language, but also our culture, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I learned from him his traditions, because he's been raised as a Jewish. So I love all of that side of him. So I wanted to get involved, and for me to be able to get involved, I need to learn. So I joined the Jewish Association here in San Antonio, and we get free books. And I'm learning. Yes, it's amazing. We get free books, and those books are beautiful. They have this beautiful story, and on the back they have an activity. So we work on that activity, and we celebrate both. We celebrate Jewish holidays, and we celebrate Catholic and American holidays at home. I know it sounds like a lot, and yes, it is a lot.
I just saw your recent post, but I think that's so beautiful. It's not just a bilingual family. You guys are actually bicultural. You have these two religions that you're mixing, and I was raised that way. We had both, so it's doable. It's definitely doable.
Exactly, and I'm glad that Emma liked it. I like it, and it's been amazing. I mean, you can be whatever you want nowadays if you and try to respect and embrace everybody's culture. You don't have to follow them, but be aware that the life that you are living is not the only way of
the only one. Exactly. To be curious and open, and the more they know, it's there's no such thing as too much knowledge.
Exactly. Yes, and showing your kids diversity, I think will show them and will teach them to be more respectful to other people, right? And it's I'm so glad I married him.
Yeah,
because
you made a good choice.
I made a good choice. It was risky, but it's been amazing, and I just love everything about bilingualism. I mean, I speak 4 languages.
I think it's your mindset though, because other people would see that as a burden, as an extra hassle, or our families don't agree on religion, or they would see. I think there's a way to be negative, and then there's a way to spin a positive, put the positive light on it. So it's all about your mindset. It's all about your attitude. We all have our own, every person and family has challenges, and I really think you're giving us such a good message and such a good reminder that there's a way to look at things on the bright side. There's a way to turn lemons into lemonade and make the best out of a situation. So even if it could be seen as too much or challenging, or people say that about raising bilingual kids. Is it overwhelming? Is it too much? And overwhelmingly, studies have seen, and just people raising bilingual kids know it's not too much for them. They can handle it. So
they can handle it. Yes, and
same thing with religion. Same thing with anything, culture.
Anything. Yes, and believe me, at the beginning, trying to when I started a relationship with my husband, of course, we are from different countries. We speak different language. We have been raised differently, right? Religion in a different culture. So yes, at the beginning we were talking. It's okay, maybe I'm too Latina, or maybe he's too Jewish, or maybe he's too American. And I was like, yeah, we have those. those things.
I can relate so much.
Yes. And I was like, okay, I'm living here and I'm not living anymore in Peru. And believe me, I'm not the typical Peruvian, because if not, I mean, I probably will not marry someone from another country.
You wouldn't have moved out, and
I wouldn't move, exactly. I mean, if some Peruvians are listening to this, please don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong about that. I'm just trying to explain that you need to have an open mind and to be able to to pass this kind of differences and learn from it and enjoy from it. And right now we are about to, I mean, Hanukkah is 8, today is the 17th, okay, 11 days. And I'm already getting ready for that.
Yeah.
The house is decorated with Christmas and a little bit of Hanukkah stuff. I also have like a little corner for Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is next week, right? Next week. So it's like a lot of these 3 holidays I have decorated the house. So
this is what kids remember, like when we think back to our childhoods, we remember traditions, we remember decorations, those are the things that matter to kids. They don't think about the same things adults are worried about. So I think it's wonderful that you're putting in the effort. I actually feel like I need to put in more effort, because I did nothing for Halloween. I just don't care about Halloween, and my kids loved everybody else's decorations, and they were so excited anytime they went anywhere, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm failing you. I don't I don't care. So I think I need to step my game up a little bit for the winter holidays. All right, so tell us more. Where can we find you? Where can we find your materials? If people want to just check them out, even if they have never been to Peru, but they're just curious. And it's Spanish, but it's Spanish learning materials the same way that anything would be. It doesn't have to be just for the Peruvian culture or Peruvian community.
It could be for any mom that would like to teach their kids about cultural awareness, a little bit of Peru, and yes, anyone that would like to learn a little bit. So you can find me on Instagram as La Peruanita Tutor.
And I will put that in the show notes.
Yes, because that's very Spanish. And then in there, you are going to find some videos on how I'm raising my daughter, how I'm teaching her Spanish, how I'm teaching her a little bit of Peruvian culture. She's also the product manager of my business, so actually she uses my product. So you can see her. You can see her learning from the products that mommy is, creating.
Genius.
Yes,
I love it.
You can find me on my website. It is laperuanitatutoring.com. I also have a blog where I talk about our bicultural and bilingual life. And I talk about how I'm raising my kids, showing them about the Peruvian culture, how we mix our Jewish and Catholic religions in one, how I'm teaching them both of them. Then you can find me on Facebook as La Peruanita 43. I'm posting, the same materials about how I'm raising them, bilingual and bicultural. And I'm also in paid teachers.
Okay, great.
As La Peruanita, right? And in there, you can find my products. Also on my website, I have some La Tiendita, that is the store to shop my products. So I have a freebie right now about Peruvian animals. Then I have the Spanish workbook. It's actually on sale right now. Awesome. And then
we can put links specifically to those, right? You can send me those and I'll put them in the show notes.
I will send you those over. And then I have created some Spanish ABC flashcards. So easy for the kids to, to associate the word.
And they can manipulate it. They can hold it.
They can hold it. Yeah. They can actually look at the color picture, and they can learn a little bit of Peruvian history as well. Awesome. And yes, I have a lot of projects in mind about teaching the Peruvian cultural awareness, about Peruvian Quechua, Quechua. We used to speak
I love
the
it.
Incas. Ah,
I
sounds
took
very interesting.
at one of the polyglot conferences, they had a Quechua lesson. So I've done one.
I saw that. I saw that. I wanted to join that conference, but we talk about that another day.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll get you into the
Yes,
next one.
we get you. And then so some I have some projects coming up very soon about Peruvian Quechua cultural awareness. Stay tuned. That's
very exciting. I love it.
I'm very excited. I'm looking forward for that. It's finally happening. And I'm going to start sharing more about Peru and how I'm mixing my Peruvian culture living with learning about the Jewish, we are bicultural family. So a lot of interesting things are coming. Stay tuned, and you can reach me in any of those platforms that I have already provided to you. And here for all of you, like could be a mom, could be a stay-at-home dad, because come on, I have met some stay-at-home dads in this area. If you just want to chat about, like, I was chatting with this lady from Stockholm. I think she is, yes, in Stockholm. She wrote me and she just wanted, thank you so much for sharing your journey. How are you teaching how you started with your 4-year-old? My son is 5, and this have really made me feel good, because you all the time are going to look, find resort blogs, and people say, oh, start young, but
start and they're born, and you didn't. So you're
yes,
a great
and
resource.
I didn't. Exactly. So now it made me feel so great talking with her. And yeah, whenever you feel like talking, just you're having a bad day because your child is not answering to you in the target language. I mean, that's okay. Just try not to discourage and just keep talking to them in the target language, and try not to force them, because the more you try to force them, it's like you're pushing them away.
Right. And I like how there was like a parenting metaphor, lesson where they said, it's not about what they eat in a day. It's like their overall, the whole week. What have they eaten the whole? So it's the same with languages. Like maybe one day they're not answering you, they're not in the mood. We've all had bad days, us as adults as well. So like, don't look at your bilingual parenting in these one day, like I failed, I'm going to quit. You have to look at like the week, the month, look at the progress, make videos of your kids, and then you'll see their progress a month, 2 months later. It's the same thing I would say to someone learning a language,
Exactly.
Make a video of yourself and then make one a couple months down the road and see if you sound, more fluent and things like that. So it's the same with our kids. We have to kind of give them slack. It's not all like this one moment, this one day.
It's not one day, exactly.
Make or break.
Make or break. And right now, I mean, not right now, but every morning when I'm taking Emma to school, we are singing something in Spanish. Like, she's singing with me. I can't believe, like, I want to grab my phone and record, but I can't.
You're driving.
I'm driving. And I have a 7-month-old also with me, so I don't want to get, into a car accident, but it feels so amazing.
And those are the little wins. This is why we do it, because there's so many little moments. And it's nice. It's nice to hear about other people's and share them. And, sometimes you'll see people posting, and it's just nice. I think we need to celebrate all those little moments where they're using their languages. All right. So tell us either a phrase or an expression or a word, a very Peruvian word, more than what was the word, quena, for the flute?
Oh, quena for the flute, yes.
But another one.
From another one. Well, that's not a very common word that you're going to use on your daily
unless you're a musician
conversations. Yes. So what I use a lot at home, and this is very Peruvian, I mean, from Latin America.
Okay.
So I said a lot chévere. Chévere is when you have when something is cool. Like we
Qué chévere.
Qué chévere, exactly. Qué chévere. It's like, oh, I bought these new shoes, right? I can say, oh, qué chévere, que quedan bien. Like, that's cool. They look good on you. So chévere, it's something that sometimes we also use something else, but mostly we use chévere in Peru.
It's more common.
But at home, I use chévere a lot. And Emma said to me, oh, mommy's being Peruvian again. And it's so funny. And then I use a lot asumare. Asumare, it's actually, there is a movie about that in
A
Peru.
whole movie. Okay.
A whole movie about that. And it's super, it's very fun. So I use Asumare, it's used in Peru a lot. It's kind of a long word, and as you probably understand, mare, it's not from mar, from Italian. No.
No, no.
I know. I remember about this because I heard one of the podcasts when you explain casino in I don't remember. That's I was laughing about that. And another word that I don't remember right now.
Yeah.
So mare is not from mar, from the beach, from the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Mare is from madre, from mom. So I don't know why in Peru we mix those two words, asu and mare. It doesn't have to be anything about your mom.
Okay. So what is this expression?
So
what does it mean?
This expression, we cut it and we now say asu. We mostly say asu. Asu means an expression of surprise. Like, for example, how can I say
this expression has surprised me. What?
Yes, like, for example, I say, I don't know, those kids have been playing outside for 8 hours straight. How come they are not tired, right? Say, oh, wow, asu. Like,
asu.
That's,
I can't believe it. Asu.
I can't believe it. That's, a lot. And we use it a lot in Peru, and I've been using that quite a lot in the house too. So asu. And if you hear someone saying asu, you say, oh, this person is surprised. It's a surprise expression, right? And then chévere, it's cool. But chévere, you will hear it not just in Peru. A lot of South American people have.
But that's a good one then, because it's used all over. But asu, that one surprises me.
Yes, and if you look, I will send you over. And if you want to watch the movie, probably you will have a hard time because they speak very fast, and it's hard for me. They speak very fast, and they use all of these Peruvian slangs. Actually, you can learn from that.
Yeah, I could learn from it. That could be a good lesson.
That could be a good lesson. And I have watched that movie, I think, 5 times because it's just hilarious.
Well, send me.
I will.
If you have something, I can add it to the show notes, and people can check it out. Qué chévere. Gracias.
Qué chévere. We say qué chévere. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking all this time. I feel like we covered so many different topics, and I learned so much more about you because, as we said, we only really chatted on Instagram, and we both want to, I know you've said it, and I also want to say you guys can always reach out and talk to us and, tell us your woes or tell us your wins or just say hi. So I will put both of our handles into the show notes, and I'll put all the other things that you mentioned, blogs and places we can go to find you. And muchas gracias. It was such a pleasure to actually see you and talk with you. And I hope everybody enjoyed.
Yes, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to tell my story. I think everybody's story is important to tell, and especially to encourage people to raise and continue this really beautiful and hard journey of that it's raising, because it's beautiful, but it's also hard.
Oh yeah.
Learning of raising bicultural and bilingual kids. So it was really, really nice to talk to you. I feel so connected with you. Like, we can learn and talk about everything in 4 different languages. Unfortunately, I don't speak Polish, and I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen because that's like too much for now. I really, really want to learn German, and that's one of my goals. But unfortunately, right now I'm focusing on something else.
You've got your plate full with all your
exactly.
work.
So hopefully, the next year, when I have like a little bit more time, I'm going to be able to learn some German.
We keep learning. We keep
learning.
Yeah, my next one is going to be Greek.
I would like to join that conference. I would like to join the Polyglot conference. So, well, I talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.